All right, so what we have here is our lesson 5, evaluating algebraic expressions, the U-tries. We broke them down here in case you needed a little bit of extra guidance with them. I'm going to work through all 6 of them, and that will wrap up our algebraic expressions topic. So for number 1, it asks us for 1, 2, and 3, it gives us an expression, and then it tells us what the variable or variables are equal to for each of those problems. So for number 1, we have that 15 divided by x plus 4, and we want to evaluate it for x equal to 5. So what that tells us is we want to take out that x and we want to substitute 5 in place of it. So everything else is going to stay the same. So we're going to have 15 divided by 5, and then we're going to have plus 4. As a reminder, I'm going to write this up top here. We want to make sure we're doing order of operations when we are simplifying or evaluating. After the substitution, remember for multiplication and division, we work left to right, and for addition and subtraction, we're going to work left to right. So I don't see parentheses, I don't see exponents, I do see division, so I'm going to do 15 divided by 5. That will simplify down to 3, and then we're just left with addition. 3 plus 4 will give us 7. So that simplifies down to 7. Okay. For number 2, they're asking us to evaluate k squared minus 4k when k is equal to negative 3. So what we want to do here is wherever we see that variable k in our algebraic expression, we're going to take that k out and substitute in negative 3. And in this case, we have to substitute it in 2 different spots, but we're still using negative 3 for both of them because the variable is k for both of those places. So we're going to do k, take out that k and substitute in negative 3, square it, minus 4 times negative 3. Remember, I like to put that in parentheses because we're multiplying 4 times negative 3 and we don't want to get confused there. I don't have any parentheses that have multiple things on the inside. I do have exponents. So we're going to do negative 3 squared. Negative 3 squared will give us a positive 9. Remember, we're doing negative 3 times negative 3. If you're utilizing your calculator, you are going to want to make sure you enter those parentheses in your calculator and then square it, or else your calculator is going to do its own order of operations and do 3 squared and then multiply by negative 1. And then we have here, I'll bring that down, minus 4 times negative 3. We're going to look now for any multiplication or division. We do see multiplication, negative 4 times negative 3. So negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. So we're going to add 12. And 9 plus 12 will give us 21. So our final answer there is 21. Okay. Number 3, we have 4 parentheses a minus b. So we are going to have to substitute in a is equal to 2, they're letting us know, and b is equal to negative 1. So we have to do a substitution for both a and b. So I'm going to bring down that 4, bring down those parentheses. A is 2, so I'm going to substitute 2 in. Remember, I'm going to write that minus sign, and then B is negative 1. So I'm going to write negative 1 and then close that parenthesis. So in this case, when I go to simplify, I do have parentheses with multiple things on the inside, so I'm going to take care and condense that to a singular number. So I see minus a negative, that really becomes plus a positive. So I'm going to bring down this 4. 2 plus 1 will give me 3. Bring down those parentheses, and so now I have a single term in there. So now, or single value, so now I'm doing 4 times 3, which will give us 12. Okay, so those are your first 3. The next 3, they're going to have us use x equals 5 for all three problems, y equals -2 for all three problems, and z equals 3, okay? So for number 4, we see that we have 4x over y. So we're going to substitute in 5 for x and -2 for y. So we're going to have 4, and remember, we don't want to confuse that as 45, so we put it in parentheses so we know that we're multiplying, because that's really saying 4 times x. So we want to do 4 times 5 all over y, which is -2. When we have a fraction, we're going to treat the numerator as its own order of operations and do order of operations for the numerator, condensing that to a single number. In this case, we just have some multiplication in that numerator. 4 times 5 is 20. And then you would do order of operations in your denominator. In this case, it is a singular number, so we can just carry that over. And then once you get a single number in your numerator and a single number in your denominator, we're good to go to divide those two things. 20 divided by -2 is -10. Okay, let's look at number 5. Number 5, we have x minus z. We are going to square that entire quantity, and then we have to subtract 1. So x and z are the two things we're substituting in here. So x is 5 minus z is 3. Okay, I'm going to bring those parentheses down, bring that squared down, and bring down that -1. Okay, so using PEMDAS, we do have parentheses and something in it that we can simplify down to a single number. So we are going to take care of that first. We're going to do that 5 minus 3 first. So 5 minus 3 will give me 2, so I'm still going to keep the parentheses on it. And then that squared is going to carry down, and then that -1. Okay, so you have to make sure we do 5 minus 3 first. We don't want to touch that exponent until we get what's in that parentheses down to a singular number. Okay, now we have exponents, so we're going to do 2 squared, which is really 2 times 2, which will give us 4. And then we'll bring down that -1, and then 4 minus 1 will give us 3. So our final answer there will be 3. We'll put this -10 in a box. Okay, and last but not least, number 6. We've got all 3 variables here. We've got z, which remember is going to be equivalent to 3. We've got y, which is going to be equivalent to -2. And we have x, which is equivalent to 5. So we're going to substitute in. Z is equal to 3, so I'm going to have 3 raised to the second power plus 2 times y, which we're substituting in -2 for y. So I'm going to have 2 times -2. I put that in parentheses so I don't get confused. Fraction bar, which is telling us to divide by x, which we're going to substitute in 5 for. All right. So let's simplify this numerator using PEMDAS for this numerator. I don't see any parentheses that need to be condensed down to a singular number, but I do see exponents. This is +3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9, so I'm going to convert that to 9, plus 2 times -2 all over 5. Still need to condense that numerator a little bit more. We're going to take care of the multiplication next. Remember, multiplication and division come first, and we work left to right, and then we wrap up with addition and subtraction. So 2 times -2 is -4, so that's going to become 9, and we can just write that as -4. We don't have to write plus a -4. We can just call that -4. All over 5, and then we're almost wrapped up in that numerator. 9 minus 4 will give us 5, so we're going to have 5 divided by 5. Our denominator is already a singular number, which 5 divided by 5 will simplify to 1. So that is the U-Try for Lesson 5, Evaluating Algebraic Expressions. We're going to get ready and move on to our next topic. Good job.